Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video. The games are coming thick and fast in the Premier League, as evident by the fact that this is yet another Premier League predictions video. Obviously, at the time of recording, the midweek games, or some of the midweek games, are still yet to be played. Massive games coming up in the midweek fixtures that will have an effect on the entirety of the Premier League. But then, of course, you've got the weekend games, which I'm going to be previewing, analysing, and also giving my predictions for this upcoming weekend that are all coming up thick and fast. And they are also going to have a massive effect on the Premier League table as we currently know it. A lot of things can obviously happen between now and the weekend. A lot of things can happen at the weekend. So I'm going to try my best to obviously give my thoughts, my comments, my predictions. Of course, predictions, because this is the Premier League predictions video on all the games that are coming up this weekend. But before we go any further, I would like to remind you, please like the video and also subscribe if you're new. Both things are always and thoroughly greatly appreciated. Also, get involved in the comments section. Your thoughts, your comments, opinions, but most of all, of course, your predictions will all make, I'm sure, for great and interesting reading down below in the comment section. So do get involved. But without further ado, let's get on with the predictions. Okay, first up, we're in London. It is Selhurst Park for a London derby between Crystal Palace and West Ham, or a London derby of sorts, I guess you'd say. Palace against West Ham, intriguing game this one. Both teams looking to put more daylight between themselves and the drop zone. Palace, a bit more safer than what I would say West Ham are, but I'd say both pretty much safe, or should be safe, considering the season they are enduring right now and the season that other teams are enduring as well that are below them. Intriguing game. Could go any which way. Palace under Roy Hodgson enjoying a very good start to life back under him since obviously his return. West Ham under David Moyes might have one eye obviously on the Europa Conference League that's coming up very soon. So that could be very intriguing to see how David Moyes kind of balances his side out, especially with them being in action midweek against Liverpool as well. Could be intriguing. I'm going to lean more towards Palace. I think Selhurst Park is a very difficult place to go, and I think with the kind of form that Palace are in right now, I'm going to have to go with Crystal Palace, and I'm going to say that Palace end this game by winning 2-1. Next up, we're sticking in London. It is Brentford at home, welcoming Nottingham Forest to the capital. Intriguing game yet again. You've got a Brentford side that are still in pursuit of European football of some sort, but obviously with the kind of form that they've been showing recently, it's been kind of hit and miss. So it could be intriguing to see how their season pans out towards the end. Against the Forest side, of course, that are battling relegation and are struggling to find any kind of form right now, which kind of makes for an extremely bad combination. Brentford at home, we know that they're tough. We know that they can turn on the style at any moment. We know that they can be extremely difficult to face away from home. At home. And they do go into this one as the favourites. And that's where I think I'm going to have to put my prediction, because Forest, away from home, have the worst away record in the Premier League so far this season. They don't score that many away from home. They don't win many away from home. Although that obviously, this could be a perfect time to break that and to change things. I am going to lean more towards Thomas Frank's side on this one. And I'm going to say Brentford come out of this one with all 3 points. I'm going to go for a 3-1 victory in favour of Thomas Frank's side. Next up, we're off to the Amex Stadium. It is Brighton against Wolves. Brighton, of course, chasing European football of some sort this season. Have a very good opportunity of doing that and can obviously push themselves in the right direction with a victory here against the Wolves side, who are pretty hit and miss under one Julian Lopetegui. Brighton at home, very tough to beat, tough not to crack, playing some good football this season. I think there's only one winner here, in my opinion. Don't get me wrong, it's never a foregone conclusion, it's never a certainty, it's never set in stone. But I think Brighton, with the way that they're playing, the way that they are looking to kind of get into European football, they've got the bit between their teeth. I know that Wolves are still fighting relegation. They're not entirely safe down at the bottom of the table. But at the same time, I don't really see them picking up any point here. Or any 3 points, should I say, here. A draw isn't out of the realms of possibility. Wolves can be a tough nut to crack on their day. but I think Brighton will have just enough firepower to see them cross that finish line and get 3 points. I'm going to go with a 2-0 victory in favour of the Seagulls. Next up, moving on to Sunday's games, and there are actually several of them. First up, we come to Bournemouth taking on Leeds. This one could be very intriguing because this is obviously a big relegation encounter. A big clash at the bottom of the table, a big relegation 6-pointer, I guess you might say, depending on how these teams go about their business from now to the end of the season. Bournemouth, of course, looking to put more daylight between themselves and the relegation zone. Leeds, of course, could actually find themselves in the relegation zone before a ball is even kicked this weekend, if obviously things are not to go their way. Massive game, massive encounter. Bournemouth been a bit pretty hit and miss. Well, I say pretty hit and miss. They've actually been more hit than miss a little bit in recent weeks, more so than Leeds, who have seen themselves concede plenty of goals in the last few games. I'm leaning more towards Bournemouth. A draw, certainly possible, but I think I might just lean... I don't know, because I'm leaning more towards Bournemouth in the sense that Leeds concede soft goals. Leeds aren't in the best of form. Bournemouth are at home, so I might give them the slight edge. But then again, Leeds... this one genuinely could go any which way. I'm going to call it down the middle. I'm going to stick with my original prediction and say that this game will end in a draw. This game will end 1-1. A point that may not satisfy either side, to be honest. Next up, we're at Craven Cottage for Fulham taking on Manchester City. Of course, with what is going to be happening this week in regards to the title race and everything, Manchester City could further close the gap on Arsenal by the time the ball is even kicked here. And the advantage of that Premier League title race could be firmly now within their hands by the time a ball is even kicked in this game. Obviously, it's still a lot to play for as far as what Manchester City are concerned, and with obviously bigger games on the horizon, not just in terms of the Premier League, but in terms of the Champions League and in terms of an FA Cup final as well to come. You would imagine Pep Guardiola's message to his Manchester City players will be just to get the job done and dusted, get it out the way early, and obviously make sure the points are in the bag before he can then start to make rotation, make changes, and obviously keep his side fresh and ready and waiting for those bigger games to come. Fulham won't be no pushovers though. Fulham haven't been pushovers, particularly at home this season, but their form has been pretty inconsistent of late. You would imagine that they won't roll over for City in any way, shape or form, but at the same time you still would expect City to be the favourites, firm favourites, and to go on and see the game out in victory. But this has the potential to be a banana skin, but I think it is something that City can definitely overcome in this one. And especially with the way that they're playing right now, they are just in unbelievable form. They're shifting through the gears as what they tend to do at this point in the season. And I guess you would say City are going to win this game. I guess there's no way about that. I'm going to go with a City win, like I say, and I'm going to say that Pep Guardiola's side come out of this one as 3-1 winners. Now we move on to Old Trafford. It is Manchester United taking on Aston Villa. Massive game this one between these two sides. Both teams chasing European football of some sort. Both teams overachieving, I guess you'd say, to a major extent. Don't think a lot of people expected United to get this far in the campaign in a top 4 spot, let alone win a trophy already and also be in a final for another trophy. Whilst for obviously Aston Villa, if you'd have said that they were going to get European football at some point at the beginning of the season, I don't think a lot of people would have believed you or thought you were a bit mad. Or even several weeks ago, I don't think anybody would have believed you. But their recent form and the excellent showing and display from their squad and from manager Unai Emery has obviously got them into contention for some form of European football for the next campaign. Both sides doing really well. Both sides have an incentive to play for in this game, something to play for in this game in terms of European football for the next campaign. Could be very intriguing to see the way that this game plays out. It'll be difficult for Villa, of course, because there's only one team that has beaten Manchester United at home all season. They've proven very difficult to beat at home at Old Trafford across this campaign. And it's going to be very difficult for an Aston Villa side who, like I say, come into this game under some good form themselves. So this one could be a very intriguing game to obviously spectate this coming weekend. Look, as far as a prediction goes, it's intriguing. You've got a United side who find a way to win. They're not always that convincing, but they manage to find a way to get a good result, and that could be something that comes around again this weekend. That could be something to keep your eyes on for this weekend against a very good Aston Villa side that are in good form right now. Have a good striker that's in form in Ollie Watkins. But Villa will be difficult, and I think Unai Emery will fancy his chances of maybe setting up strong defensively to thwart United's key players, and then it's all about whether they can take their chances up front. And like I say, with the form that Ollie Watkins is in right now, you wouldn't back against him not to kind of put the fear in that United back line. With that being said, though, I am going to go with a draw. Again, this result could genuinely go any which way, given how United look shaky at the back, but look good going forward. And how Villa set up. They're very strong defensively, and I think Unai Emery's done a fantastic job since coming into this club and changing the fortunes around very quickly. I am going to go with a draw, and I'm going to say that this game will end 2-2 come the final whistle. Next, we're off to St James's Park. It is Newcastle against Southampton. Look, Newcastle looking to solidify themselves in the top four. Southampton looking to battle relegation. For me, obviously, we're being at St James's Park. Very tough place to go, especially across this season. Newcastle with the incentive, the bit between their teeth to go on and solidify and set in stone Champions League football for next season. For me, unfortunately for Southampton, there's only one winner. The way that Newcastle are playing this season, the way that they have been at home this season, there's only one winner. Southampton can obviously go into this one with a bit of a free swing, can obviously cause a bit of an upset. This one has the potential to be a bit of a banana skin, given it's Southampton. They tend to thrive in games we don't really expect them to get anything out of, but I just think that this one might be a bit too far of a reach for the Saints, and that is why I'm going to go with a Newcastle win. I think Eddie Howe's side playing some good football right now, in some good form, and I think they'll get the job done. No doubt about it. That is why I'm going to go with a 2-0 win in favour of the home side. Rounding off Sunday's games, we're at Anfield. It is Liverpool against Tottenham. Massive game. This one's always some sort of Premier League classic, I guess you'd say. This one always throws up some very intriguing games and has done down the years. Liverpool at Anfield. Look, I don't want to, again, count my chickens, that kind of saying, but at the same time, with the way that Spurs are playing right now, with the way that Liverpool are looking to salvage something from their season, with the way that it is at Anfield, and only one other team has beaten Liverpool at Anfield this season. Only Leeds have gone to Anfield and won this campaign. And although Liverpool's season hasn't been the best, been a bit of a car crash in all honesty, I would safely bet, and then again, have I just spoken too soon? I would like to think Liverpool will win this game. I'd like to think that Liverpool will go on and get all 3 points in this fixture. Of course, Liverpool have to be careful of Tottenham's key players. Heung-min Son seems to have picked up a bit of form in the past couple of games. Harry Kane, obviously, is still very, very dangerous, still on the hunt for more goals. But at the same time, Tottenham's defence looks soft. Tottenham's defence does look pretty unstable. And I think Liverpool's front line can definitely exploit that, as they have done time and time again, a fair few times this season in certain games. I'm going to go with a Liverpool win. I think the home crowd at Anfield will drive them towards that win. They'll get the 3 points. They'll continue their push towards some form of European football for the next campaign. And I'm going to say that the Reds come out of this one as 3-1 winners. For our Monday night viewing, we are at the King Power Stadium. It is Leicester against Everton. Massive relegation clash this one. A big relegation 6-pointer for the Foxes and the Toffees to endure on a Monday night. Look, for me, this one's got a draw written all over it. Of course, in these kinds of games with this kind of pressure, of course, anything can happen. I'm sure it will be a pretty nervy affair. I think it will be... I don't think it'll be the best of watches, but at the same time, looking at how both sides may set up, I'm looking at the way that Leicester under Dean Smith has the squad and the potential to obviously go on and win this game. I'm looking at how Sean Dyche can set up. He can thwart the big... the kind of big... the key men of Leicester to their advantage, and maybe a Sean Dyche masterclass maybe in the works there. But I am going to go with a draw. I'm going to say that this game will end 1-1 come the final whistle, but I'm not entirely confident on that. Let's just put it that way. This one genuinely could end any which way, but 1-1 is my prediction. And finally, what I believe to be the biggest game on this round of fixtures, the biggest highlight of this upcoming weekend's round of Premier League fixtures. It's not actually technically the weekend, really, because this game is taking place on Tuesday night. It is a massive London derby. It is Arsenal in the red corner, Chelsea in the blue corner. It is all going down at the Emirates on Tuesday night. And, of course, it could have big implications on the Premier League title race as well. You've got Arsenal that will be... Depending on how the Manchester City game goes, of course, depending on how City play against Fulham, and of course how the Arsenal-Man City game goes on Wednesday night, we'll be looking to try and chase down or try and extend their lead over Manchester City, depending, trying to put more pressure onto City to kind of keep up their momentum that they're seemingly gaining. And of course you've got a Chelsea side who will be looking to throw us a bit of a spanner in the works there, trying to thwart Arsenal, put up another roadblock in front of the Gunners. Even though their season's been a bit of a car crash and a bit poor from Chelsea's point of view and from Chelsea's standards, of course they'll still want to stop their London rivals from, of course, trying to gain anything on Man City or stop them from even attempting to try and lift that Premier League trophy come the end of the campaign. Look, massive game. Massive game. Take the Premier League kind of context out of it, the Premier League title context out of it. Still a massive game. There's still bragging rights on the line. It's still a rivalry between these two sides. Arsenal will want to get one over on Chelsea just as much as Chelsea will want to stop Arsenal, even when you add the context of a Premier League title race that Arsenal are in right now. Chelsea's season has been extremely poor. They can salvage a little bit of something from it if they win this game. A bit of hope, bit of optimism maybe. Although it might be too little, too late. But again, still would be good for them to come out of this London derby as victorious. I don't necessarily see it happening though. I think regardless of what happens between now and then with Arsenal, I still see them winning this game. I think they have more in the tank, and I think they will have... I don't know whether it will be the pressure on them or whatever it will be, but I think they'll refocus, get back to winning ways, whether it is going to have to be that they get back to winning ways or not. And I think they will get the job done in this fixture, which is why I want to say this game will end 2-1 in favour of the Gunners. But of course, as I always say, these are just thoughts, comments, opinions, and most of all, of course, predictions of this guy. I want to know what you guys think. What do you make of all the games that are coming up this weekend in another round of exciting and intriguing Premier League round of Premier League fixtures? What are your own thoughts, your comments, opinions, but most of all, of course, what are your predictions on all of the games that are coming up this weekend, and of course beyond that as well into Monday, Tuesday. I'm sure they'll all make for great and interesting reading it down below in the comments section. Otherwise, hit that like button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you're new and want to see more content like this. Both things are always and forever be greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Premier League predictions video, and I have seen you all again soon in another video.